The Caretaker Committee of the All Progressives Congress will be holding its inaugural meeting today. The 13-man committee, Caretaker Committee, led by Yobe State Governor Mai Mala Buni, is expected to conduct a special national convention that will usher in a new national working committee for the party. Political analyst Adeni Kunu joins me now via Skype to discuss this. Adeni, it's good to have you join me now. Now, following the drama and all the intrigues and everything that's happened in the ruling party in the last 2 weeks or so, a lot of people have said that there are so many legal things that could stand against the party, maybe in the near future and all of that. One of them is the issue of the chairman of the Caretaker Committee, who is a sitting executive governor of a state, and according to the APC constitution, no national working committee member should be an executive officer or political office holder in a state. How do you reconcile this?
Well, with what you've said, you've actually referred to Article 17(4) of the APC Constitution as amended 2014, which states that nobody who holds executive position in the party should also have, more or less, as we have governors sitting as members of the Caretaker Committee. But certain persons have argued, referring to Article 18(1), that did not actually list the Caretaker Committee as being officially recognized. But what the law has stated clearly in what you started with is that you cannot hold dual offices. Mai Mala Buni, who is actually the chairperson of the Caretaker Committee, was APC secretary about a year ago until he became the governor of Borno. And now we have two other governors, Isiaka Oyetola of Osun State and Sani Bello of Niger. So I have to say that in principle, that is a linear thing that should not need any kind of further dissection that the president actually aired. At the first instance, we talked about those who are part of the National Executive Committee dissolving duly elected members of the National Working Committee. Many persons have argued that somebody needed to rescue the party when it was drowning, but more or less like saying that if somebody found a missing child and not report the missing child to the authorities and hand over the missing child to the authority, the person keeps the child at home and started nurturing the child. No matter how much love you give to that child, in principle, you have erred according.
All right. I guess the lines just went dead there. We're speaking with Adeni Kunu. Okay. All right. Yeah. Adeni is back now. Fine. You were making a point.
Yes, I said that if you found a stray child and you took the child under your roof to care for, and you don't report the missing child to the authorities, it does not make legitimate your action. So in the first place, when the president dissolved the National Working Committee of the APC last Thursday, as much as the president did that to save the party, that was wrong because the National Working Committee members were duly elected. Now, when you now constitute a Caretaker Committee and you chose 3 sitting governors as part of that committee, and you also choose a sitting governor to head that Caretaker Committee, that is double error. Because we have many members of the APC who do not hold any position as governors or anything that should have filled that void. So it is double error on the part of the composition of that particular Caretaker Committee.
Oh. All right. Now, with what has happened, although most players have agreed to withdraw all the cases from court and also abide by what the party leadership has said, but that does not stop them from being aggrieved. And from the feelers we're getting and some of the comments that are being made is that some of the aggrieved members can walk against the party going forward. We can also see that from, if you cast your mind back to PDP when it was the ruling party, that also happened at the time when you have aggrieved members working against the party one way or the other. Do you see this happening? Is it likely in the nearest future, especially towards 2023, when everyone is strategizing against?
Well, let me say here that there's an expression that is very popular within the political sphere, which is that there are no permanent friends or enemies in politics, but there are only permanent interests. And that is what is happening here. If you check the defection of the governor of Edo State, immediately his interest was threatened. He jumped ship to the PDP. Ize Iyamu is somebody that has cross-carpeted 1,001 times, if I must be hyperbolic. So anytime he finds out that his interest is not being served, he jumps ships. Don't forget that the governors you referred to prior to the 2015 elections were found out their interests weren't being served. So what did they do? They jump ship. So at the level we find our politicking in this country, the political ideology is not such that sticks with certain things where you could have a Republican member who has been there for over 3 generations or something of that nature. So I can say that our political ideology is evolving, but how fast it will evolve could be the issue. I can say very clearly that the coming elections in September will be a serious one, because immediately you find that people's interest has been affected or is being threatened, they will likely work against the party they initially belonged to. And that will very be likely when we see the elections come up much later this year.
All right. Before I let you go, the system where the chief executive or the political chief executive or the highest political executive of within the party is the leader of the party, so to say, and has and wields a lot of influence. A lot of people, political scientists, are saying that that doesn't give room for the building of ideologies. For instance, the president is the leader of the party, and whatever he does, he wields one of the greatest influences even beyond the chairman of the party, whether it was PDP or if it's APC, as the case may be. What do you make of that in looking towards entrenching ideology in our political parties?
I think people should come into the consciousness of understanding their boundaries, even if you hold a superior office that the electorate has given to you. For instance, the president understands that he's the #1 citizen of the country, but the president did not check himself such that he would know where to shoot and when not to shoot. As a matter of fact, I was expecting the president to have delegated such huge responsibility to another leader who showed us equal with him in the APC, in the likes of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, or maybe another elder statesman that has been with him, Pakondi. I was expecting the president to do that, to create a balance. So I think that for everybody who holds offices, and don't also forget that the former chairperson of the APC, Adams Oshomole, also overreached himself when he was doubling as a chairman, as a spokesperson, when you have Lanre Issa Onilu there as well. So I think that whoever holds executive positions in government as well as in party must understand that the tendency might be there for you to wield excessive power that might not be your constitutionally given one, but you have to check yourself. So the president, to me, would have done better in restraining himself so that we would have this particular thing playing out. Because if you look at it, if any of the APC members that have been affected by the dissolution of the National Working Committee has the balls enough to go to court, they will win. Of course, you might actually jeopardize your continual membership of the party, but you'd have made a statement in law. And even the president has erred in that there was a case between him and another person, I think 2008. There was another one, I think 2010. The president should have understood better. And it also hurts me that the person who swore in, the person of Maimala Buni,
Yes.
actually the attorney general of the federation, who should have known the law better.
Okay.
So he would have been the person to advise the president that, sir, you are the leader of this party, but you're erring according to law. But he kept quiet.
All right.
He kept quiet, yeah.
It's okay. Adeni, we just wait to see how things play out as we get along on the political space. Thank you very much, Adeni Kunu, for your time on the program. Really appreciate you. Coming up.